Marilee, where I am is the worst damage we've seen. Take a look at the back of this repair shop. Its roof has collapsed, pieces of it are hanging, other pieces are actually in the front yard, and some are across the road nearly a kilometer. The owner tells me he's just thankful that no one was killed. Well, just imagine a large fire truck like this one behind me approaching you on the road. You're supposed to stop. We went for a ride along with the fire paramedic service in a medical supervisor vehicle like this one behind me. And what we saw was that some drivers froze, some panicked. Some drivers are simply missing the message. I was actually here Wednesday night just to check it out, and I can tell you that when the Jets score, the person next to you basically becomes a new friend. You're high-fiving, people are hugging, lots of excitement, and fans here are hoping for a repeat of Wednesday. They're hoping the Jets, of course, beat the Wild again. Renee? Marilee, Raymond Cormier has been found not guilty of second-degree murder in the death of 15-year-old Tina Fontaine. Gord, this bus shelter has been here since the 80s. It was built when Portage Place was built, and as you can see, there are tinted windows. It's fully enclosed, and police think that could be part of the problem. This 19-year-old woman doesn't want to be identified, but she wants to be heard. She trembles as she recalls what she says happened while alone in an examination room with a doctor. The woman went to the clinic seeking help for stomach pain.
She went straight to asking me to pull down my pants and lean against the examination table, and he started touching me inappropriately.
The patient says the doctor penetrated her with his fingers, groped her, and told her to touch him, and that he continued even after she told him to stop.
He leaned forward and he kissed me twice, and he told me that he really likes me a lot and that I'm a special patient and that I should come once a week to do this.
Winnipeg police have charged 51-year-old Dr. Amir Ravish with sexual assault, and more women are coming forward.
Our sex crimes unit has received a number of phone calls regarding the conduct of Dr. Ravish. They're continuing with the investigation right now.
The woman tells me at first she wasn't going to tell anybody about what she says happened. She says it wasn't until she was at the hospital being treated for her injuries that she got emotional and confided in another doctor.
I walked out of the clinic and I started crying because I didn't know who to tell or what to do, because I didn't think anyone would believe me that a doctor did this to me.
The woman is studying to become a doctor herself. Why did you want to share your story with us?
Know that it's okay to step forward if someone does something like this to you.
A message she hopes reaches others. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And I still don't understand it.
Next week, Caribou will share her niece's story at a community hearing in Winnipeg for the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls.
I get excited.
She has high hopes, but also growing concerns. To cope. This is her 7th Thanksgiving without her niece Tandy Deepanak. It's believed she was murdered. Her body was never found. The National Inquiry, that's already seen a string of departures, is now dealing with 2 more. A day after introducing a replacement for its executive director who left in July, the inquiry announced its director of research, Amy Kraft, and its lead lawyer, Susan Vella, are leaving. In the past year, about a dozen staff members from the inquiry have left. There have been calls for the head commissioner to step down, and now calls for the Prime Minister to step in.
Figure out what's going on and admit that we do need a reset.
North Wilson believes the resignation suggests those in charge don't see eye to eye.
And that there's lack of confidence, lack of compassion, and it's hard for families to trust when there is a level of mistrust.
Betty Rourke says she's seen the inquiry take a positive turn in recent weeks. At the beginning of the summer, the woman whose sister and daughter were murdered says she felt little support. But now she says the commissioner has been in frequent contact.
Because we can't please everybody. So I think that the best thing we to do for us all to do is to work together.
Work that it seems is far from over. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Winnipeg. For 2.5 weeks in February, Elmwood councillor Jason Schreier and his family went on a road trip to California. His souvenir? A nearly $4,600 phone bill charged to a city cell phone.
While we're in a long car trip for a couple of weeks, I guess my son was playing Minecraft more than we thought.
To stay connected, he set up a data roaming plan. The intention was to use it to stream City Hall meetings and news, but his 9-year-old son also used it to play video games.
It happened to be that it went over the 1 gig, which I wasn't really paying attention to when I left. I was told to be more than adequate. So it ended up going substantially over the $100 package.
Schreier says he found out about the cell phone bill at the beginning of April. He always intended to pay it, but wanted a breakdown of the costs. He's frustrated it was publicly posted before it was paid. Schreier never got to see how much data was used for work and for video games, but he has reimbursed the city the nearly $4,600. The city says councillors' expenses are posted online within 30 days of the end of each month. Schreier's reimbursement will appear online next month.
Personal expenses might happen and you pay them. This isn't unusual. The only thing unusual about this case is you happen to know about this one.
In 2017, Schreier had his credit suspended for not filing receipts on time. He racked up $57,000 worth of personal items on a city credit card, including dinner, groceries, and an Xbox for a relative's birthday.
I think that it's an innocent mistake, but it's unfortunate that a city councillor who's had problems with expenditures in the past, that this should come up again.
As for Schreier's son,
is he going to continue to be allowed to use your city cell phone?
No, that was a mistake. That won't happen again.
Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Oh, just about ready for takeoff. Yeah.
Stepping into this plane is like time traveling for 93-year-old Reg Harrison. Virden, Manitoba, Remembrance Day, 1942. The first time he ever flew a Tiger Moth solo.
No, I remember. No, is this your throttle? Yeah.
Harrison was 19 when he left the farm in Saskatchewan and joined the Air Force. Based in Yorkshire, England, he crossed enemy lines 19 times to drop bombs. He crashed 4 times. He walked away while others died and earned the nickname Crash.
It's a great thrill to be in here.
Dave Gillespie bought this Tiger Moth from a museum and restored it. His father was also a Second World War pilot from Saskatchewan. When Harrison reached out, the plane collector had a special salute for the pilot. For the first time in 73 years, Reg Crash Harrison would take to the skies in a Tiger Moth. The view from the cockpit, while foggy, sparked clear memories, many tough to talk about.
The Germans had a very effective night fighter force. And I think of all the bombers shot down, probably about 75% of them were shot down by night fighters. When I reflect back on it now, I sometimes wonder how we did it, but I think it was the atmosphere that we were in. You always had the feeling that, you'd come back and there'd be empty beds and empty chairs, but you always had the feeling that it wasn't going to happen to you. I think if you felt otherwise, you probably never had enough nerve to take off again.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, that was quite a thrill.
Didn't crash that time.
Didn't crash that well, no. I had a new fella that knew how to fly.
My dad was one of them. So he trained on the same aircraft. So to meet Reg today and see his enthusiasm and his spark for life still is just, it's incredible. It's encouraging, and it was an honor to be able to fly with him.
We're not going to celebrate, we're going to commemorate or observe another Remembrance Day. So today had a lot of meaning for me.
43431.
A special moment shared between 2 pilots, 2 strangers turned friends.
Thank you.
Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Saskatoon.